Yeah, I got my first hands on with it yesterday. Honestly, I really enjoyed it. I liked Heavy Rain as well, yeah. I had no problems with the gameplay thing. It's fine. But did you ever have to consider where maybe gameplay would intervene with what you were trying to do in the narrative sense and vice versa? Like, was it hard to find a balance between it?
Actually, what I tried to achieve is that, in every single scene was to have the gameplay supporting the narrative and the narrative supporting the gameplay. And what is even more challenging is that Beyond doesn't rely exactly on mechanics. It's not like you're going to do pretty much the same things in all scenes. Each scene is different. Each scene is unique. So for each scene, it's like a different almost problem that you need to solve and find different answers. But the way I work is really thinking about gameplay and story at the same time. And even the basic concept of Beyond is based on this idea. I thought, okay, that would be cool to have this girl was a link with an entity. And I thought it was very interesting on a narrative point of view, because you want to know what this link exactly is, who the entity is, why they have this relationship. And at the same time, it contains an interesting proposal for gameplay where you think, okay, I can switch between the girl and the entity. So even in the basic concept, you have story elements and gameplay elements.
And I did notice that, especially in the scene outside the cinema, which I loved that. You know, that was cool. Like, sort of figuring out what you could poke and prod and change. You know, and I mean, how? Because I remember the shop scene from Heavy Rain had so many. I remember you demoed it many different ways to do things. Is that same approach? I mean, is that possible in this game as well? There's many different things you can do, outcomes.
You know, with Beyond, we didn't try to replicate Heavy Rain, otherwise we would have done Heavy Rain 2. We really wanted to create an experience that would be different. We wanted to build on what we learned on Heavy Rain, interactive storytelling, this approach to bending stories in a way, actions, consequences, emotions, different themes than the themes usually found in video games. So all this is there in Beyond. But Beyond is an emotional journey into the life of someone. It takes place through 15 years, where Heavy Rain took place through 4 days. So it's a different experience. But there are many ways of playing the game, and there are many parts that you will see or miss depending on how you play. And some actions just have local consequences, some have consequences on the scene, and some have long-term consequences. But it's a different balance compared to a Heavy Rain, and I hope that people who played Heavy Rain will start Beyond with a fresh mind, an open mind, saying, okay, I'm going to just go on this journey and see what happens.
That's cool. I mean, certainly the bit I played when Jodie's running through the train and being caught, it's pretty tense. You know, it's a sense of claustrophobia. You know, I mean, you always sort of write your games. You know, and that's an incredible thing to see a game developer write the whole thing. You know, that's impressive. I mean, do you feel your own craft has become more honed throughout this process? Has this been sort of a learning curve for you as well?
Oh, it's always a learning curve, and it's a learning curve since I started 16 years ago. There was a story in Omicron, but no one could really say what the story was about, because it was probably too confusing and not very well told. Fahrenheit had some very good moments, other weak moments. Heavy Rain was hopefully a stronger experience. And I think that Beyond is, the way I feel it is that it's a moment of maturity for me as a writer. It's probably the most accomplished thing I've written to date. And it's been a very interesting process. Also, telling the life of someone was something new to me and something incredibly challenging, because it's about telling compelling things with a little girl and with a teenager, with an adult, and making sure that when you mix all the scenes, because the game is not told in order but in chronological disorder, it would still make sense and be appealing. And so all this were just a series of challenges, very, very interesting challenges for any writer. But even I would say the writing of Beyond was a journey for me, because sometimes you start with an idea, and for me it's always a very, very simple idea. And then I start writing, and then the writing sometimes takes me somewhere else. And after a year, I realized what I really wanted to talk about. So it's like your little inner voice, in a way, took the pen at some point and said what it had to say. So it's always something, yeah, it's a journey for me as a writer, definitely.
I mean, and do you write beyond games as well? Do you do short stories? I mean, how do you keep yourself sort of fresh, between these? I mean, these projects take a long time, I imagine, obviously years, so do you dabble in between, or?
I would love to, but I have no time, actually. It's a full-time job. And a game like Beyond, it's insane. I don't know if gamers, when they play the game, they realize what it means for the people who made it, but for me, it's a year in writing. So for a year, I'm writing like 12 to 15 hours a day, non-stop. And it's really thinking about the story night and day, literally. And it even makes you feel a little bit weird because you don't socialize anymore. You're always in your mind, lost in your thoughts and thinking about this, about that, waking up in the middle of the night to go back because you had an idea. It's a strange moment. And then there is a year in shooting where you stress with the shootings because it's a year shooting every day, pretty much. So you need to prepare your sessions and then shoot, and it's about 165 actors working on a game like Beyond. So shooting every day with people like Ellen Page, Willem Dafoe, it's some kind of pressure. So that's another part of the job. And then you have a year where my job is mainly filming, directing, talking with the music composer, making sure everything goes in the right direction. So really assembling the different pieces of the game and trying to create a consistent experience with all these pieces. So it's a full-time job.
I mean, all of this. I mean, you're almost there. It's out next month. And how does it feel to kind of play off the PS3? I guess this is the last big send-off. I mean, and it's technically accomplished. These games at the end always are. So how does it feel to be in that position, to be the, I won't say swan song because it's still there, isn't it? But how does that sort of feel to be coming out like at this point?
Well, we had this discussion with Sony at some point about should we release this game on PlayStation 4 a little bit later or at launch, or should we release it on PlayStation 3? And our position has always been we want this game to be on PlayStation 3. Because we think it's a very exciting moment for the platform. It's the moment where it's the bigger install base, and it's going to take years before PlayStation 4 has 70 million consoles out there like PlayStation 3 has today. And this type of experience needs, a wide market. You want to talk to a maximum amount of people, and not necessarily to the early adopters of a new console. So no, we feel very good. We also did the same thing with Fahrenheit on PlayStation 2, and we thought it was the right decision at the time.
It definitely does make sense. I mean, and obviously you did that amazing PS4 tech demo. I think everyone thought it was going to be deadly serious, and then it was like, it was great. It was like pulling the rug out from underneath someone, man.
It was very funny because I was in the audience at E3's conference, and everybody was deadly serious during the first part, and it was really funny to see this moment where the sorcerer says shit and suddenly everything changes, and I could feel almost a relief in the audience, saying, oh, thank God I was not serious, because they really wondered what happened to us at Quantic Dream to do this kind of stuff.
I mean, it was brilliant, and is humor something you want to focus? I mean, I'm not going to fish for like what you're doing next, obviously, but is it something that interests you personally? Is that like the next writing challenge that you need to overcome today?
When we were thinking about this new technical prototype, we thought, okay, everybody will expect another Kara, another girl that will make you cry, and we thought, okay, let's do something that people don't expect. What are the other emotions that we have not tried yet in 16 years at Quantic Dream? And we thought, okay, not done a lot of humor so far, really, and honestly, I had really my doubts until this conference about can we do it? Can I write something that would be funny? And I thought, wow, I've never done that before. So it was a big test, and the goal was not to make people laugh. It was really just if we could make you smile, then that's a win for us, because we wanted to show that games can trigger any type of emotion, dramatic or not dramatic, and that's fine, because now the medium is mature, is ready to explore different things, and this is what we wanted to show with the Dark Sorcerer demo, playing a little bit with some of the video game cliches out there, and that was a lot of fun.
I think that's interesting though, because, and I mean this sincerely, that Heavy Rain and Beyond, I think, make a very good case for video games as a credible storytelling medium. It is, because there is still, especially here with the British tabloids, Call of Duty made my son mug someone, steal things. It's all this. I think it's just a way of trying to convince people that games aren't all about violence. But what you did with the Dark Sorcerer is literally really good, because it's like you pull someone in one direction, then you've got them like here. I mean, what's your take on that perception? Is it something you see over in France as well? Is it?
It's a very interesting situation right now. And at Quantic Dream, with the games we make, we are in an even more interesting position. We have on one end of the spectrum the hardcore gamers who say, oh, what you do is not a video game. It's interactive cinema, go do films, we're not interested, we want games where you shoot. Okay, that's one thing. And on the other end of the spectrum, you have society as a whole, where we knock at the door and say, look what we're doing, it's story-driven, there's emotion, actors, and say, oh, but no, video games, they're all about violence and shooting and this kind of stuff, it's for teenagers and it's just violence. So we're in between, and you try to say on both ends, wait a second, look at what we're doing and then make your judgment. But we would like to say to hardcore gamers, yes, there are some great games out there, whether it's GTA or Call of Duty, Battlefield, all these games are fantastic. But look, this is something a little bit different. It's not about shooting, but still, it's a compelling experience. Give it a try. And we say to society, have a look, because not all games are about violence. There are games that are about very different things. There are the games Quantic Dream makes, but there are also very interesting indie games right now, exploring very different directions that are absolutely not about violence, but really trying to make this medium a new creative form. And there is definitely something happening in this industry right now, and you should have a look at this. And it's interesting because with the presence of Ellen Page and Willem Dafoe in the game, we managed to open some of these doors. People who never talked about video games before, now they're interested in talking to Ellen and Willem about their experience on Beyond, and that's something great, because again, it's just about opening a little bit the door and selling in public, look, games are not all the same, and they are not all about shooting and driving.
I remember actually when we spoke last year, I think Kara had just come out before Gamescom, I think, and one of the questions I asked was, do you feel that one day actors who perform in games like this, to the same degree they would in a film, obviously, or a TV show, should they be awarded as such, the same as actors on film? And you said yes, and of course Kara won an award. I mean, what does that sort of say to you then, to see that sort of thing happen?
It's difficult to answer this question, because I personally felt that the performance delivered by Valerie Curie in Kara deserved an award for acting. And I'm really glad for her, because she's in a very successful TV series right now in the US. And it's called The Followers, I think, and she's just amazing. She's a great actress. And same thing for Ellen Page in Beyond. You will look at her performance, and I think what she has done is amazing. I've never seen a video game character doing what she does in any video game so far. I think she was just completely amazing. Does she deserve an award? Yeah, probably, I would say so. But at the same time, when you look at the rest of the industry, not everybody's interested in acting, and not everybody believes that this is something that should play even a role in the game industry. So there are different points of view here. We'll see how things go. Since Heavy Rain, many games, some games try to deal with interactive storytelling and emotion in games, and that's a very good thing. We'll see if it's a growing trend or if it's just an exotic trend in the industry.
Cool. And again, I mean, I'm not fishing for any project details, but you have, you have done stuff on PS4 technology. in broad strokes, then what do you see for like the future of the medium in that regard? I mean, in your experience.
You mean at Quantic Dream or in general?
Just in general, yeah. Just,
I really don't know what to expect for the future in the industry, and for me, from where it is today, it can go in very different directions. What I see today is big AAA titles, crazy budgets, incredible teams with sometimes 1,000 people working on one game, but maybe not that creative because there's so much money involved that they don't want to take any creative risks. So they keep doing pretty much the same things year after year just to keep their fan base. And on the other side, I can see in the indie space very interesting things happening with very small developers. Sometimes it's 4 or 5 guys, and they have little money, and they just need to find new creative ideas just to exist and deliver interesting experiences. And creativity is definitely there. And at Quantic Dream, we're a little bit in the middle. We believe that regarding the mindset, we are really an independent developer because we have total creative freedom. We do the games we want. We don't follow necessarily the rules of marketing. We don't make sequels. We do things that involve a lot of risk. But at the same time, we have the support of a major console manufacturer that gives us all the resources we need to make this game. So we're a little bit in between. But if you ask me where I would like the future to be, I believe it's with indie developers. I hope that they will really make the future of this industry, but it's up to the players to decide what they want. I often try to explain, give support to indie developers and you will see more indie games. Give support to the big franchises that don't take any risk, you will get more of this. Yeah, you will just get more sequels. And I think the answer is not one or the other, it's both. And when you look at cinema, for example, it's an interesting mix of blockbusters, but also of more indie films and new ideas, etc. And this is what makes the film industry so appealing to me.
I mean, are there any indie games that you have enjoyed or you have looked at and thought, yeah, that's in tune, you know, that tells a good story, that does new things?
Yeah, I mean, there are many games. I mean, I'm gonna mention always the same ones because unfortunately there are not enough of them. But that game company is doing a great job, and I'm a big fan of Genova Chen. Journey was a great experience. I'm a big fan of Ueda-san. He's not indie developer per se, but I think he has a very, very unique approach. I really enjoyed a game called Papo Ennio, and I thought it was very clever, very moving experience, very different from what you could expect from a video game. And the reception was a little bit disappointing because you had people criticizing the platform game, but that was really not what the game was about. And I think some of the critics missed the point. Unfinished Swan, Gone Home. There are many games. The Brothers, very interesting one. I love these games. This is the future of the industry, and I wish these people had more space and more access to media also.